Hey everybody, what's up? We're here with a timeless reading. Before we get started with the reading, let's set the intention for this to be a space where everyone allows themselves to feel seen and validated, and ultimately for this to be a safe space and a healing space in alignment with the highest good. There can be a move that you're considering making for yourself, but I'm seeing you be a little bit, like maybe even back and forth about this. This can be about accepting something as well, or giving something. We're starting off with the Five of Cups and King of Cups. So something emotionally that's going on here, even if it's happening in the background. Five of Cups kind of sets the very beginning of this in a space where there's something here that you're coming to terms with on a deeply emotional level, on a deeply energetic level. To have the King of Cups shows that you have the ability to exercise your skills emotionally to maneuver through this situation. King of Cups is about finding the stability within this and the acceptance within it and coming to terms with everything that you're feeling. What the King of Cups does not do is bypass or pretend that they're not feeling anything. The King of Cups is like, I will feel everything. I will recognize everything. I will observe everything that I'm feeling. And I will be able to do my best to remain grounded and to like extricate myself from this experience and to find that calm space, the equanimity. That's what the King of Cups is about, finding the equanimity. And right now you may be resting in order to do that, or pulling back from a situation, or taking a break from a situation in order to do that, to fully come to terms with everything. This definitely feels like, it feels like a lot emotionally. But once you get to this place where you feel like you got this and you're all right, I'm seeing that you're going to be moving forward. But there's something connected with the past that you may still be coming to terms with, meaning something that you're recognizing, like, I still need to accept this, like, this is something that I still haven't gotten over yet, or I'm still, like, I don't want this to be, and I'm coming to terms with that it is maybe different than how I thought or how I wanted it to be. But it's all stuff that, like, you can't do anything about it now, definitely. Especially within these cards, Five of Cups is the first thing that came out. And so this is looking backwards into something. When you get into this space where you are kind of sitting with all of that and able to stand within that, you're going to be facing forward again. So that's really the difference here. There could be something going on as well that maybe you're just preparing to let this go at this point. Because it's good to review, however, sometimes it becomes a bit redundant looking back at something, because all you can do is really like talk about it, and it's like over and over and over again, you know, the same thing, and a little acceptance may really be what's needed, or a little self-honesty. Meaning, like, that really did happen, and no, I didn't want it to, or whatever, but it is what it is, you know? Whatever it is that you need to do. It looks like this has to do with... Yeah, I'm getting this strongly with this Five of Cups, like you not letting something go. Like thinking about it all the time, all the time, all the time. Even though it's not going to do anything, it's not going to bring it back. And you may be getting to the point where you're recognizing this, where you're knowing it. This looks like it has to do with an ending that happened. or just something that happened in a way that felt very painful. But it was meant to be the catalyst for growth and change for you. That was the point of this. I'm seeing definitely some severe circumstances here. Like something that didn't feel easy to move through. Especially because I'm seeing Scorpio here, and that can be, all of us have Scorpio. Just the archetype of Scorpio can be a scenario that felt very intense. And right now you're sort of working with yourself to understand what it is that you're feeling, which means recognizing what it is that you're feeling. 2. Yeah. I'm seeing pain that was associated with the way that something went down. And to have the Death card, the Death card asks you to surrender. Like a situation is supposed to be, I don't want to say bad enough, but severe enough that you're like, I can't go on like this, or I don't want to ever have to go through this again. So it's something that really shakes the roots of your foundation in order to simulate growth. To encourage it. But it's meant to change you in a way where you evolve further. It's not meant to be regressive, although the shadow of Scorpio, which all of us have Scorpio in our charts, it can, if it's taken in that way, it can be regressive. It can be going backwards. It can be trying to fight for seeking power and control and manipulation and chaos. Especially those of you that have a lot of Pluto within your chart, or meaning like Pluto highly aspected within your chart, or you have a strong Pluto in your chart, or you have houses in the, if you have a lot of placements in the 8th house, can be. Could have also just been a situation that happened that it felt very scathing as it occurred. But yeah, when we go into the shadow of Scorpio, we can become very obsessive about things, like not let it go and be very fixated on like revenge or getting back, or like trying to seek that power then that we felt we didn't have within that situation, and to manipulate things and to corrupt them even, because those are all shadow sides of Scorpio. Or you can use it to surrender completely and to transform through the experience, and to let that sort of like weed out what is obsolete or what is rotten and needs to be let go of, to dissipate in order for you to have like regrowth and renewal and transform, to even change form. But you still might be like trying to figure out how you feel about this. Like I'm getting something about you sort of expressing even to yourself how you feel. Maybe there's also another person involved here that you're going to reach out to and let them know. I'm hearing that this is still standing. Maybe that you're still affected by this. Because this does, I don't think that this is something, this experience as far as like the event, I don't think that you're going through that right now. I think this is something that happened in the past, but like energetically you're still experiencing it. But I don't think you're in time right now where this event is actually happening currently. This looks like something that happened a while ago, that you may still like really be in your feelings about this, especially too like the way the cards are coming through. It may be something where you're like, you feel open to what it is that you're feeling, but at the same time, it's still, again, something that you're coming to terms with. Like you may feel very sensitive around the subject. And I'm seeing there be efforts now that you're trying to make, whereas before, maybe when you went through something like this or went through something similar to this, you wouldn't have expressed how you felt. Now it looks like you're making some sort of effort to express how you feel, but it may be like something very deep that you are trying to express here, and that may be a challenging thing because it hurts a lot to revisit this, but I'm seeing you've been like revisiting it anyway. But maybe putting it into words or communicating it is making it more like real to you, you know? It does feel like there's an effort for a movement of some sort. Yeah, I'm seeing communicating, expressing this in some way, like mobilizing these feelings. I'm seeing it definitely be, it's getting things moving so it doesn't stay stagnant. And it does look like there's like a cleansing or a clearing out that you're doing. But I'm seeing you move through this process and be like, you may feel like it's a miracle even that you made it through this. Like this Six of Wands represents like a victory, somebody moving through a situation and being like, yes, I came out on the other side of it. And I'm seeing this have to do with like a huge like growth period for you that did not feel comfortable by any means. I'm seeing something that felt like very, very painful as you move through it. This Six of Wands, you see how this person, they're like on the ground and it looks like this thing is like about to like go through their heart, something like this, which is funny for a Six of Wands to be like that. But this person, it's like somehow evading the last strike and making it through something. But you may have felt like something really brought you to the edge where you were like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it through this. Nonetheless, you do, but it could have had you feeling like really on the edge, on the verge, and not knowing which way it was going to go. Nonetheless, you are coming out on the other side of this. I'm hearing it's just taking some time. Some of you, you're transmuting this by making music, I'm seeing, about this experience, or storytelling. Some of you are designing clothing. It looks like what's motivating you and what's been motivating you to clear this out is to open your heart so you can connect again. Because it does look like there's an opportunity that you have or that you're about to have to connect, I'm seeing here with the Ace of Cups. So, and it happens right after the Six of Wands. So it's like as soon as you look, Three of Swords is the pain that you go through, okay? So whatever this is, like the lasting imprint that this left upon you, this is you clearing that out. So this is you coming out on the other side of that, okay? After in some way expressing how you feel, and I'm getting like that's what you had been doing. It's like first you went through the thing, then it's this whole process of like coming to terms with all of it and maybe facing like your biggest fears that were associated with it, which feels like the biggest part of all of this. Then this third step, you're like working together, working you with you, trying to come to terms with everything and sort of process what you're feeling and also express it and share it in whatever way you need to. Like whether you're writing in your journal to yourself or you're talking to your guides or you have a sit down with this person. It's going to depend for each of you and what your situation is and if it's okay to connect back with this person or if it's not a good situation for you to do that in. It's all just going to depend on each of you. But I am seeing something about mobilizing your feelings. The thing is as well that you can go through a situation and you can heal from it without needing to have contact with another person, you know? So don't think that it needs to be one particular way. There are lots of ways to heal from a situation that don't involve actively being with the person that this transpired with, okay? So then I'm seeing this fourth step here be Ace of Cups, the opportunity to connect. So it's something that, like, you would be feeling this situation, whatever it is, but I'm seeing that you have to make a choice about it. This is also coming through. I'm getting somebody's energy come through where they had been involved in something. It did not go the way that they thought that it would. It was very necessary for them to come to terms with how they felt and sort of accept that this was not the situation they thought that it was going to be, and come to terms with everything that it is, rather than just what they wanted. And then it seemed like needing to bring an end to something, even though that would have been like feeling maybe like the most challenging thing to do within this situation, within these circumstances, because that would mean a lot of change for this person. But I'm seeing that exactly like be what was needed within this. And then I'm seeing them like possibly working with another person to communicate how they feel. There can be a therapist involved in this as well. King of Cups can be a counselor, or somebody that you can somebody that can be a sounding board for you. Could have also been connecting back with this person that things ended with and being like, this is how I feel, like this is what, there couldn't be something that's being rectified here and needing to be talked about. It's specifically associated with how things sort of came to an end. And then I'm seeing like that be accomplished, and then I'm seeing something here about connecting with someone, and this looks like something new, like a new opportunity to connect. And because of this being here, somebody, before they can take this opportunity to connect truly, like they're actually going to have to bring something to an end. It would be necessary. But I'm seeing some little bit of an issue coming up here that may feel a bit tricky. I'm getting this like vibe of feeling triggered about needing to make a choice, but maybe being like even aware of that. The reason that one feels triggered is because if one were to make a choice to actually like go through with what they feel needs to happen, it kind of feels like something needs to be amputated here, and it can either like corrupt the entire body, or you could cut it off now, like energetically speaking is what it feels like. But I'm seeing somebody be in a place where, just because of the intensity, especially mentally and emotionally, of this that they're going through, I'm seeing them feel very, very triggered by like all of the changes that this would mean, and sort of what they need to surrender in order to do this. That it didn't feel like the obvious choice to make. However, I'm getting that after much reflection, one sort of sees the way of what to do and how to move forward with this. But it's not the initial feeling, because I'm seeing the ego shows up first and is like, we could do it this way. But I'm seeing the person wouldn't feel good about doing it like that after the fact. And it would just be like the ego trying to pacify Or are you trying to pacify the ego, actually? But what it looks like is that one is actually going to find their way through this and do it in a kosher way. You know what's interesting too is that I'm pretty sure that the last reading I did, it had to do with, for some of you this may not be related, but for others of you it's definitely coming up, because the two readings are related for you. In the last reading that I did, what I was seeing is that like there were people that were working together within a relationship, and the Three of Pentacles came out. So there's like a collaboration that's happening where it's like, let's try to work together and work things out and figure out what's going on. And things were going very well, but the person needed to bring something to light that they were not sharing yet with the other partner, that they were sort of keeping a secret or keeping something to themselves, and they were shying away from communicating with the partner because they didn't want it to taint what was going on within the collaboration. Like they didn't want it to get in the way of how smooth things were going. So something this can be like a progression of what's happened now, where there may be disappointment that's connected with you trying to work with or work something out with another person, but then I'm also seeing a new connection be involved here. And I'm seeing these two energies that are connected with one another, where one needs to sort of ground and get in a space of actual acceptance. Because what it looks like is that there's something being felt, but it may be a difficult thing to admit to, because it may be a bit painful to sort of be like, yes, I am feeling this way, and that's difficult for me. So it's like one of those feelings that are harder to sort of sit with, okay? But I'm seeing that once one does, there's a necessity to communicate, make a decision to communicate how one is feeling. But what I'm seeing is that that's going to lead to an ending. It's going to lead to a cycle being completed. But it's what the aspect that would be completed within this would be something that's not meant to continue any further, would be stopped. Meaning the cycle is over. But I'm also seeing there be things that sort of look like it's connected with what would happen after the fact. And it's Three of Swords and Five of Swords, which means that somebody may feel very hurt by what's going on here, and they would react. And this is where I'm seeing like the Scorpio energy, and all of us have the ability to lean into, tap into, to channel the energy of Scorpio. What I'm seeing here is that somebody may have a propensity to lean into shadow Scorpio energy and may sting back because of feeling hurt by this thing or overwhelmed by this thing coming to an end. However, what I'm getting is that eventually, at some point, like this is going to lead to a bigger transformation for everybody involved, potentially. And I'm also seeing that success comes from embracing this and surrendering to the motion of what's going on here. Surrendering doesn't mean giving up. It just means getting out of the way and letting things happen as they're meant to, then doing your part, fulfilling your dharma, which means honoring your nature and what you feel is right for you to do within this situation. Six of Wands is you accomplishing this. So it's sort of like embracing the changes that are asking to be born through you. And then Hermit means that you may actually sort of tuck into yourself and be on your own for a minute. And that may be what's happening now, because you feel you need some time to sort of just sit with yourself and reflect. It seems like sitting with yourself, like being on your own for a minute and reflecting on how like something didn't go how you wanted, and you may have been prolonging it out of like fear of ending something but you knew it wasn't right for you anymore. Otherwise we wouldn't have started with the Five of Cups. Five of Cups is like, I recognize like this is not the situation, that I thought it was, and I wouldn't have done this if I realized even. And that may also be something that you're coming to terms with, like if I had just trusted my instinct, or if I hadn't done this, or if I'd done that, or whatever, you know? All that stuff that comes with it. So, but what I'm getting is that, like, this is about you being brave and doing something that needs to be done. And when you end this situation, it's going to give you time to reflect on it and be like, why was I involved in this? And how did I get into a situation like this? And it's going to connect you more with your instinct and your intuition, which will decrease the chances of you finding yourself in another situation like this, among many other things that you'll be realizing. But I'm getting that until you have this time to reflect, you're just going to be perpetuating this situation. And it's just going to get worse and worse and more difficult until something breaks. So it's going to happen anyway. But it looks like right now you can make the decision to do this if you're willing to, by being honest about how you feel. Because I'm getting that you may not have been being completely honest with this other person about how you're feeling about this situation. You may have been keeping it to yourself a bit. And not that you even need to go into all of that, but I'm getting just like something needs to come to an end, that it feels like it's actually painful to keep carrying on in this way, and that's why it's necessary. But there can also be not knowing how the other person's going to respond if you do this, because some of you, you're worried about how the other person's going to react. But that can also be like a reflection of your own self-judgment as well, too, you know, feeling like you're becoming maybe the perpetrator within this situation if you're seeing things in that dichotomy, or you see the other person like that. But there's something here about somebody getting hurt and then feeling triggered by that because of, like, I'm getting the vibe of somebody acting out because they're very uncomfortable. And you can identify with that and be like, yeah, I can see how I was leaning in that direction. And that is something I do when I'm stressed out or when I'm triggered, you know? Or maybe it's this other person. Maybe it's both of you. Who knows? But for some of you, some of you it's you, but for some of you it's your partner, and you may be a little bit weary of them and how they're going to react to being hurt. So we can leave it at there. I don't want to tap further into that energy. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I'm seeing Virgo, and I'm seeing Scorpio too. Remember, all of us have these placements in our chart. I'm seeing air and a lot of water. I'm seeing fire. I'm also seeing earth too. So really can be anybody. It's more about the story being portrayed than anything else. All right, my friends, we're going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everybody for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm wishing everybody love and light and healing, and I hope to catch you guys next time.